Okay, uh, we're just going to make a quick video of this thing. This is a 10 amp Harbor Freight buffer sander that I got for 30 bucks. It's right around the beginning of the pandemic. I bought half a dozen of them at once. We polish Airstreams here and we go through buffers. And I found out that the $180 DeWalt didn't last any longer than the Harbor Freight. So I bought Harbor Freight. Get 6 of them for what one DeWalt costs. Here's some adapters for buffers, grinders, anything with a 5/8 11 TPI thread. Those are 4 inches long. Once you put them on and get your right distance, you cut the end off and reface them and you're back in business. This is a 1-inch backer. Turns this 1 or 2-inch belt grinder into a 1-inch. Right now we have the 2-inch backer on. 5/16 bolts throughout. Your tube locks and your lock for vertical horizontal are right here underneath. This is for vertical horizontal and this locks the tubes. The backer plate, same size, about 1/2 inch. And I put all the locks and adjustments on one side, made it way easier to deal with, I think. There's your tool to do that adjusting. Hangs right there so you don't have to go hunt for the damn thing. We have speed control here and an on-off switch. I built one of these a few weeks ago and I built it, how do I want to say this? I kind of slapped it together because I just wanted to see if it was going to work. I didn't know that it would. I figured I would go ahead and try it. What I can tell you is not only does it works fairly well. The speed control, I guess with a 1200 grit belt on there, you could use that to fine-tune sharpening. And you put it up to cutting speed, and this little darling does cut. There's no mistaking that. It works pretty good. It's no noisier than any of them. To take this horizontal, take this bolt out. I've been trying to figure out a way to attach a cable to that stupid thing. Haven't figured it out yet. Flip her over. You're right back in business. The cable itself needs to flip around so that you can cover your belt here. My fingers are slippery. And I got the bolt on the wrong side. The other bolt goes in here, not on the other side. Don't know why I got it over there. That gives you a table for your horizontal mode. Guys, I built this thing out of pocket. I had well below, it was below $150. It really didn't cost that much to build. The screwdriver, that little nut driver there, I picked up 3 of them at the flea market for $1 a piece, so now I just throw that in there. The 1-inch belt adapter, you literally take these 2 bolts out, pull the 2-inch off, put the 1-inch on. Make sure that long bolt's sticking out because we use that for the spark deflector that I put on all my grinders. Helps keep some of the debris out of your face. So it's a worthwhile thing. Excuse me. I'm trying to keep this compact and concise. I put all the adjustments on this on the far side so that in horizontal position you could still reach all your adjustments. That seemed worthwhile to me. I personally don't normally build them to flip over, and I don't much care about speed control. My attitude about speed control, holy crap, don't press so hard. That'll slow down the cut. And you really don't need speed control. These are adapters here. I built them 4 inches long. After you put your driver on with that adapter, you want to leave about a 1/4 inch sticking out. To me, that just seems kosher. I just cut them off, stick them in the little lathe over here, and reface them. That seems to work well. I used silicone to seal the top. As I cut the handle off because I didn't see any reason to have it sticking up 5-6 inches in the air. Just made it more portable for flipping over. I won't use silicone again. I'm going to build a couple more of these and put them on my shelf down below for next April. And what I'll use here is a gray epoxy. That way once it's in there I can shape it. And it'll look like it belongs there. I gotta tell you, I looked at throwing a DeWalt on here. I have 2 of the 7-inch DeWalts. The problem is that's a $180 friggin' grinder. I could buy 1/2-inch motors for way less than that. The 1/2-inch motor that's running this 48 right here, this is configured the same way. It's configured so that it can run 1-inch or 2-inch belts. I got a 272 sitting 6 feet away. So I have this configured for the 1-inch, which is what I use it for most of the time. I had to rebuild this 272 because when I built it initially, I put the push-down type tracking assembly on it, and I couldn't get it to run true. It can't. Now, I ran it that way for years, and what it did is it wore the tracker and the driver at a slight angle. So I had to literally pull the tracker and grinder off it. The tracker, I ended up just putting it in my melting box. But that 6-inch driver cost me $60. So I put that in the lathe and turned it true again. And I'll put that on a 272. I got a used motor down below that I'm going to use to rebuild that. But anyway, what I'm telling you right now is this little 34, they raised the price $10 about a month ago, so now they're $40. But next time they have a 30% off sale, I'm going to pick up a couple, 3 of them and build some more of these and put them on the shelf, because I can sell this thing out the door for $250 easy, and wifey will still be happy that I'm getting paid something. Me, I really don't care that much. That's about it for this belt grinder, guys. If anybody's got any questions, just give me a yell. I'd be more than happy to answer it. The hinges for these are factory hinges that you could buy at Lowe's, Home Depot, etc. I got them at the flea market for $1 a piece. I bought a dozen of them. These are a really tight hinge. They have 12 gauge steel. They're plenty healthy for this job. And quite frankly, I'm happy that I got them. It saves me a lot of time building one of these. I do like my cool little knob I made for the tracking adjustment. It's just a washer tacked onto the bolt. This makes it a little bit easier. Switching on this is your basic household light switch. That's the speed control that was on the grinder. I just adapted it in there. A couple little screws on the side. Piece of plastic behind them pulls that up against the wall. Got a little epoxy behind it to help hold it there. Tried hot glue, won't hold. The deck is offset so that you can flip it around. That deck can go onto this grinder 4 different ways. Depends on what you're doing, how you want to put it on there. It'll flip long-wise, short-wise. You can feed from either direction that way. Seemed like a worthwhile mod. And I'm tickled pink with this shaft-type mounting system for your friggin' table. This works good. When this baby is on there, let's put it on there. It gives you infinite adjustment. Get it where you want it. Slide your carrier tube in far enough to bring your table back up to the belt, hell, you could set that at an angle steep enough to use for edging a blade. It would work. I personally wouldn't do it that way, but it would work that way. And it's simply a twist of the wrist to lock it in. And I build these so that when the table is locked in and it's all the way down on the tube, now we're at 90 degrees. That just makes that setting easier. Also, one of the things I haven't done yet, but I will, is cut this off of the tube. If I cut this off, this belt grinder, which is right now a 1/2 by 48 inch belt grinder, can also run 42 inch belts. I don't know why you want to do that. The belt will run faster that way, but at full speed, this belt's running over 4,000 feet per minute. It'll run ceramic belts if you want to spend the money for them. For me, one of the main reasons I am so happy with these 48 inchers is I can go to Harbor Freight and buy 5-pack of 80 or 120 grit belts. I have belt rippers. I sell these with the machine. I have a 1-inch and 2-inch belt ripper. So I bought 5 belts for $13, and I get 20 out of that package. That's just your basic 80 and 120. Those are the most common grits I use here. What I can tell you is they'll do most of what I want to do. I do have some 600s and 1200s, but I only get those out when I'm finishing a blade, finishing an edge, etc., or sharpening my wood lathe tools. I literally use a 1200 to finish those edges and then hone them, but that's a different scenario. What I'm trying to impart here is you can build this belt grinder for about $150 round numbers, and have a reliable, decent piece of equipment. If your motor burns out at some point, holy crap, all you got to do is push the button on the back of the motor, stick a punch in the driver, spin the driver back off of there, stick another belt grinder back up there, and spin the driver back on. You're back in business. So worst case scenario, you're out like $40 and you got a brand new motor with a 1-year warranty. If you don't cut the handle off, I'm pretty sure they won't warranty one with the handle cut off. I just didn't like it sticking up. And that's all I got to tell you about this. She pulls about 7.5 amps with a load on it. With you pushing against that belt with a piece of steel, she pulls about 7.5 amps, which means she will run handily on a 15 amp circuit. And while we got the camera going, this is my melting furnace. I've been using this thing for about 6 years. Yesterday I got wild hair up my ass and decided it's time to get in here and clean it all up and redo it. And I got the floor last night. She's already set and quasi-cured. It's plenty hard now. This fire brick is sitting on top of another fire brick, which is sitting on top of 1 inch of refractory concrete, and then the concrete that's in there already was flush with that. And I got it all cleaned up, put a new layer of concrete in for the new fire brick, which is sitting on top. I had this configuration before. The fire brick that was sitting where this one is, been in there 6 years. Holy crap, melted hundreds of crucibles full of metal. I had to take a punch, hit it in the middle, and break it so I could get it out, because it still wasn't broken. These are high temp fire bricks. They are not insulating fire bricks. I fill it up flush. When I get ready to stiffen all this after I clean it up, I will stiffen this as well. I'll put stiffener on this as well, just to seal it, so that if you do spill anything in there, you can get it back out. Because what happened to me is it just started accumulating way too much crap in there, and I decided to get it out of there. I cured that with an LED light in a clamp-on desk lamp, put it on top, cover it with towels. Towels insulate it so it gets warmer inside, but they allow the vapor to escape. That's essential. I do the same thing when I stiffen it. The lid's outside. I have to redo the lid too. But I'm not in any particular hurry. I just got to get this belt grinder out of here before I tackle that. I did go over and get me some non-LED light bulbs. This is getting to be a challenge. I got two 40-watt appliance bulbs. The LED I had in there last night generated a temp of about 90 degrees. That's what it was at this morning when I came out here and checked it with the infrared. We had 90 degrees inside that little furnace. That's with LED. So they will work for that. Not great, but they do work. Anyway, anybody has any questions about this little darling, give me a yell. I'll be more than happy to illuminate you. Have a good one. Bye.